Hey everybody, this is Roger with Roger's Reviews, and I just wanted to go over the difference between an electric chainsaw and a gas-powered chainsaw. And there wasn't really many electric chainsaws in the past except for the corded ones. The battery packs are getting better and better, and I can see in the future the battery densities are increasing and the power output of these rechargeable saws are increasing. So I can see that in the future, people are going to be getting away, especially homeowners, from using gas-powered equipment because of course, it's cleaner, it's better for the environment, but also too, there's a lot less maintenance on electric saw, just like electric car. Basically, you just have a battery pack, and you got a motor, and then you got your chain. It looks pretty much identical to a gas chainsaw, but there's a lot less moving parts. On a gas car, there's 2,000 moving parts. On an electric car, there's like 10 or 15 moving parts. I'm not sure what the breakdown is on a chainsaw, but I know there's a lot less to deal with. I've been using chainsaws for over 20 years, and I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and try these electric saws out and see what they're all about. And I was actually impressed. The battery technology is getting better. The power density isn't quite there yet. I think once they increase the power density, maybe in the next year or two, you'll be able to basically replace a lot of your electric saw, or I mean gas saws, even commercially. Also too, these saws are very quiet. You don't have to adjust anything except for the chain. So, for example, I'm inside right now, and I can basically click a couple buttons. And that's it. I mean, if I can't even fire up my little chainsaw in here because the neighbors would get probably not too happy with me. So what's cool is when you open this thing up, there's nothing to it. There's no clutch, there's no nothing. So basically, this saw, if you take care of it, this thing is going to last a long time. When I took this apart and I looked at the insides, I couldn't believe the simplicity of it. By not having a clutch, that is like a lot of your wear and tear parts. And the way they made everything, it's really a great way to engineer a saw to where it's going to last like your lifetime almost. Battery packs, I've had this for like 2 or 3 years, and it maintains a good charge. It's great for homeowners too, because normally if you don't use your saw for a few months and you don't drain it properly and store it properly, it messes up the carburetor. And usually when you get a carburetor rebuilt at a saw shop, it's almost $100 to get a new carburetor and have it installed. So I think homeowners, especially if you don't have a lot to do, pick up one of these saws, and usually you can get it in a kit. And really, your battery packs are about more expensive than the saw. I think I bought this saw for like a little over $100. They were on sale. The battery pack's more than the saw. So you could literally throw the saw away and keep your battery pack. But there's nothing really to go wrong on these saws. The engines are very strong. Engines will last almost forever. And maybe replace a chain every once in a while. But we've used these commercially. I've used them around the house. Very impressed. I had a bigger battery pack, but for some reason that battery pack didn't last. I charged it 3 or 4 times and it finally stopped working. But the regular battery packs have lasted great. The bigger battery packs last almost twice as long, but they're kind of heavy. So I'd rather have 2 regular packs than one big battery pack, because one can be charging while you're using the other one, and by the time you're done with the one battery pack, usually the other one's almost charged. So if you have 3, you can pretty much use these continuously. I wouldn't really recommend for firewood, because firewood's the most labor intensive for your saw. If you're doing firewood, a lot of it, I would just go ahead and get a gas saw until maybe a year or 2 from now when the battery packs are better. Or if you have a corded saw, you can usually do firewood with that, but it'll just wear them out. If you're just cutting and trimming and cutting trees down and not cutting them into firewood, like, believe it or not, tree services make less cuts because we have the equipment to where we can just make a few cuts and pick it up with a big machine and throw it in a truck. So we probably make less cuts than a homeowner would with firewood if you're consistently cutting and cutting and cutting and making little tiny pieces. So anyway, this is just a brief description about what's different between a commercial or gas-powered saw and electric saw. And like I said, I can't wait till the battery density improves, because I'm going to switch over as soon as it does. And I'm trying to use as much electric equipment as I can, because it gets very expensive to keep these saws maintained. If you have like 10 or 15, 20 saws like I do, a lot of times these carburetors, it's almost manufactured or engineered so these carburetors are failing. And every year, a lot of my other saws that I don't use a lot, I have to have the carburetors rebuilt or replaced almost every year, every 2 years. And it gets expensive. It's almost $100 or more a saw. So we use our saws all the time. We use the best steel mixed formula that's supposed to stabilize the fuel. We even try to use non-ethanol gas, and still our carburetors continually have problems. And they're getting more and more high tech with the computer chips in them. So I've bought in a lot of brand new saws that just have problems after a few months. So like I said, if you're a homeowner and just around the house, I recommend electric saw, but I would at least get an 80 volt or bigger. That way you have the power. Like this one right here is the equivalent of like a MS250. So you're gonna have plenty of power and plenty of run time to do whatever you need around the house. Maybe like one battery pack will cut a tree down and pretty much limb it up. And then you probably need 1 or 2 battery packs to cut it into firewood. But if you're just hauling it to the road in big pieces, you can probably do it with 1 or 2 battery packs. Anyway, this is Roger with Roger's Reviews on the difference between an electric chainsaw and a gas chainsaw and where the future is headed. We are headed for a battery future. We're headed for a more power dense battery future. And I think we're within a year or two of having enough density in batteries to where we don't have to use gas powered equipment at all, especially around the house. So anyway, if you like this review, please crush the like button and go out and get yourself an electric saw, battery powered. You'll be very impressed. Have a great day.